Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, for whoever's tuned in from wherever. I'm starting this live talk today a little early because of some other situations that are going on right now that I have to attend. So me and Skeme are going to start our talk a little bit early. Oh, hold on. What's going on? See, everything is going wrong today. I'm trying to put this in the question, but I would try to pin this comment. Damn, yeah. So I'm all over the place. I've been dealing with small crises, work related. Had to deal with that all weekend, but that's all good. We have my very first guest that was on What Now, and his name is Skeme Richards. You may know him, and I am very excited to talk to him about what has been happening the past few months. It's been 3.5 months already. Like, he was my first guest when I came up with the idea. He was the first that wanted to see and try this out, and I'm actually excited that he did this. So I'm very grateful for Skeme to be my first guest, and I would love to have him back here and let's discuss. Oh, he's already in here. For tuning in early. I'm sorry for those who will tune in late, but I gotta shift my schedule a little bit today. Skeme, what's
What
up?
up? What's up?
Man, thank you so much for accommodating my weird schedule today.
All good, all good.
Yeah,
I know you're a busy woman.
people people will see that it's live, so they'll just join whenever they can.
Word.
First of all, I wore a special shirt for you today. Let me see if I can show you what it says.
Looking good, because you know that's the truth right there.
I was about to say, like, you always discuss everything along the spectrum of whatever is Black culture. So
Right.
I was like, let me wear this shirt. Or, us being in the same frame, people can't read it, but at least I've shown it for now.
Yes. Yes.
I am so happy that the little idea that I had in the middle of the night that I called you about or hit you up about, and you wanted to be the first guest, is now actually a platform where people feel like it has value, not just during Corona times, motivational and inspirational, but people actually want to be guests now. I get hit up by everyone like, I want to be on your show, and I'm like, it's not even a show, but it's amazing. And for those who are all coming in now, Skeme Richards was my first guest, and we had an amazing talk as always. So I am actually expecting this to be just as amazing. I just can't
I'm
believe it's
excited.
been so long.
Yeah, it's 3.5 months we've been dealing with this. And
Crazy.
your show has grown. You
I
know,
know.
the
I'm
platform has
having
grown.
guests. I'm having guests that I never even thought I was going to talk to, like people that I was a fan of back in the day, and people that I was a fan of without knowing. And
Right.
it's just and all over the industry, like from music to film to whatever it is that they're doing. It's just been connecting me with people, but it's also been connecting others through
Right.
this show.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
the
the one thing
power
I'm
of
noticing. I'm
the
noticing that,
power
like,
of this.
yeah, that's the one thing I'm noticing through this whole pandemic. Like, there's so many people that are being connected, and relationships are being built, and things are being interwoven. And I've met a lot of good people through this pandemic, which I might not have met, any
Right.
other time. So it's great. So, like, your show, I'm happy. I'm happy, like, people are really reaching out and wanting to, talk to you and, like, have
Yeah.
great conversations with you, and I'm honored to be the first person who you sat down with to
Come on,
discuss
man,
this.
Skeme. I gotta let everyone know, like, Skeme and I have a special bond. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you're not just a person that I know from the industry, but I really hold you dear. And it's like, I fucking love you, man. Like,
You know how we
and,
do.
and people don't understand, me and him been through some shit, so that's how you know that you're really friends, that you're solid.
Right.
And so it was only natural for me to ask you to be the first guest because you always have stuff to talk about. You have substance, but
Right.
also good inspiration, and your energy is always upbeat. So for me, that was one of the conditions that I want people on this show, because not everyone can just get on my show, you know.
Right. Right. Yeah, you got to
And
have a presence.
now that it's grown like this, again, time flies when you're actually busy, because when we first got on lockdown, we weren't even doing anything. Well, you and I were still doing things, but most of the people weren't doing anything. So now that I'm sitting down, like, okay, we were talking about, well, we'll talk again at some point. And now it's 3.5 months later, and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, what did we do? Because on one hand, it feels like it was yesterday, but we're in July. We're over half of the year.
Yeah.
And so, are there things aside from, being connected to more people? Honestly, that first talk between you and me, I made so many friends thanks to you. Like, yeah. I've really been following some of your followers, and they hit me up, and I've been following what they're doing. It's just, a lot of geeky stuff, but that's what we do.
Yeah. Well, like the good thing is like I'm connected to a lot of different scenes, because I have a lot of different interests. So
Same.
people always say like, yo, you're the connector of people, because I'll take people from over here who might not have known anything about these people over here, and everybody winds up building. So like that's great. Like that's what social media is supposed to be.
Right.
Good people are always supposed to connect. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and I'm happy too, because there's a lot of business that actually came out of my talks. Not to get too much into detail, but people don't understand that I started this to motivate others, and now it's become something with so many positive side effects business wise, not just for me but also for other people. Like, I just got a message today that no, I want to start from the beginning. Somebody hit me up because they saw my fourth talk with Four Eyes, and because we're reflecting on what happened. So I want to tell this in this conversation because you were my first guest. So somebody hit me up because I spoke to my friend Four Eyes, a rapper. People, go back to my IGTV, you can watch it. That person then connected me with Shauna, who I talked to 2 weeks ago, which was awesome because I've always been a fan of Shauna. I just never met her. And then through Shauna, this great producer hit me up, Amadeus, who I talked to last week, who has produced for everybody and their mama. And through Amadeus, I got hit up by this guy who sent me a message talking about he wants to give me a free account on his new platform to promote my talks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, let me see who this guy is. This guy turns out to be a person who I bought the book from a couple of years ago, and I read his book called How I Left My Job and Made It in the Music Industry. Shout out to Jay Hatch. And because I told this story to one of my friends who I met through this talk as well, who became a friend, he hit me up today talking about he's reading the book because he ordered the book too. He bought it and got it in, or reads the book, and turns out that Jay Hatch is actually working with one of his friends that he's working with, another producer. So this whole thing is just so crazy connecting.
Yeah. So it all comes full circle. Yeah.
Right.
But that's what this was supposed to be. This lockdown period was supposed to be about building bridges, connecting dots, linking up with people, and making things happen.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
I'm doing that.
Yes, you are.
and I'm providing a platform where people can do that as well. Because even people, I see them in the comments talking, like people are now, like, it's like it becomes a chat room or, whatever. But it's just amazing how much we're all connected, especially in this music industry. And I'm just like, even the guy who was reading the book now, he came in my life a couple weeks ago, and we turned out to know all of the same people as well. And he's an amazing composer and an amazing producer as well. So I want to work with him, with my artists. So it's all coming together.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what happened to me. What happened to you in these times?
You know, same old, same old. You know, like I feel like this did me some good. This time off really did me some good. I finished a lot of projects. I released a 45. I finished
Yeah,
up
but
a
you're
new
always
45.
releasing.
Yeah, you know, so like, and I finished up a new 45 that should be out by the end of summer. I got two cassette tape releases coming out. I did some writing. You know, Disco Patrick that lives in he lives in the Netherlands. He lives
I
in
know
a
his name. Isn't
he
he the one
lives in
that
a
wrote the book
town.
or the?
Yes,
Yeah.
he does a magazine too. He wrote a
Right.
couple books. He did a magazine. He lives right outside of Haarlem.
I don't know him personally. Maybe I've
Okay,
met him, but I'm not friends with him. But I'm sure
right.
we've
So
met somewhere.
yeah. So I've written for his magazine multiple times. So I did articles for his upcoming issue. I did articles for a German graffiti magazine that's coming out. I just been writing a lot and projects, and like my streaming app is like
Oh
really
yeah,
taking
that's
off.
it's really
So
taken off.
I'm turning out content constantly, you know. So it's content that I wouldn't have been able to turn out had I been traveling
Right.
heavily, you
So
know.
you
So all
basically used your downtime where you're missing out on your shows and all your gigs. You use that to do as much as possible that you still want to do and that you do next to your gigs as well, and just push it out because once the doors are open again, you won't have as much time to push that content.
exactly, exactly. So and I'm stacking up a lot of content so that if the doors do open tomorrow, I've got enough content and
Yeah, you
projects
you're
that I can
working
say
ahead.
I'm working ahead because I always go into the year thinking about the next year, you know.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
said
always
that the
been my
first
thing.
talk. Preach it
Yeah,
again to the new people.
yeah, you know, like that's the thing. When 2020 rolled around, I was already thinking 2021. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm always ahead. And you know, this time of being off, this did wonders for me. Like I'm actually happy that I had this time off. You know,
Right.
a lot of people are like miserable and upset that they have to be in the house or they're on lockdown. For me, you know, I'm good. I got enough movies and like toys and
You
you
got
know,
movies for 5 lifetimes, homie.
I do. So I'm good. Like, you know, and you know, this time it just really did me good and I needed this because I needed to put out some physical content to people. So like yeah,
Right.
I feel good. You know, and I've met a lot of people
Yeah.
on the way. You know, I've met a lot of good people and I've built relationships with people already. And you know, we're talking about doing projects in the future and stuff like that. So yeah, this was good times, you know?
Well, talking about good times, we're now July 6th. And when we started, we were all in the same situation. You were locked down, I was locked down. Our governments were all trying to figure it out. But in these 3.5 months, now we've actually been doing great. Our country, I mean, I'm sort of little proud of it. I mean, there's still people that are, acting a fool, but our curve pretty much got flattened directly. We had, well, beginning of June, the first week of June, we all had the protests, that were sparked by the murder of George Floyd. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
into that a little bit later as well. And almost all big cities in my country have done protests, thousands of people. And all these other people are, white people were all like, oh, it's gonna be corona, blah 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 blah. There has not been one case that came out of the protests so far.
Right,
What
right.
our health organizations have been tracking. So
Mm-hmm.
we have not had any new cases since our peak in March and April. So we are now pretty much, playing outside again with distancing measures in place. Events are now happening again. The venue that I'm on the board of is opening up again. It may be with a couple of chairs and distance, but things are slowly opening up again. We have to make reservations to go in a cafe to have a drink, but and you have to answer these health questions, but whatever. We're still already almost back to normal with a new normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hugging my mom now because I'm like, okay, it's been 3 months since I hugged my mom. I'm gonna hug my mom. I'll disinfect, whatever. For you guys, on the other hand, for King Roland, that's asking me where I'm at. I'm in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So for you guys, I've seen Florida being on lockdown again, North Carolina being on lockdown, Texas is doing terrible right now, California, all locked down. So for you guys, we still have to talk about Corona.
Right.
What do you think is happening in the States right now with that?
You know what? It's all these entitled fuckers. It's all these people that feel like their privileges are being taken away. You know, they have no discipline. They have no discipline whatsoever. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. Because even in Philly, we were fine. Like it was fine. The protests happened, we were still fine. The minute that the government says, okay, like we're going to open up with certain stipulations, fuckers go buck wild. You know, they want to hang out. They want to be at the bars. They want to be at the park, at the beach, and they don't want to, you know, follow guidelines and rules. And Florida being one of them, you know, especially Florida. You know, Florida is a different world in itself. Florida, Texas, you know, like those places, they just don't care. But I also equate that to people who never leave their cities, states, or country ever. Because if they traveled, then they will understand how important this is. You know, so they're actually making my job difficult because now I can't travel because of you guys.
They're making my life difficult because I can't travel. You know, I got all my friends and family in the States. I got clients in the States. I can't even go there. Thanks to these people.
And that's the problem. Yeah, it's all these Americans that don't care, you know, because they don't leave their cities anyway. Right. They don't leave their cities anyway. So they don't care about going to the next state over or traveling abroad or anything like that. So, you know, for me, it's pissing me off because, you know, I can't travel.
Things down for you.
Yeah. And that's how I make my living. I travel. Luckily, I'm able to sell product and, you know, have my streaming app and still make money at home without traveling. But I enjoy traveling, you know. And like my man Bus Crate said, like, these people don't leave their block.
They don't love that. Well, not only don't they leave their block, they also don't love their fellow humans or their society.
Right. And it's a certain demographic. It's a certain demographic and a certain mentality of the people that don't have a care in the world. You know, it's not everybody. It's just these entitled fuckers
selfish ass people that talk about, I'm not going to let them take away my freedom.
Right.
And then we're on the same time, we're now protesting Black Lives Matter.
Right.
But that's not a thing because there's no racism. You all have freedom. It's like,
it's backwards.
You just want to slap these people like from here to Tokyo. Like
there's so much of that going on right now. And, you know, a lot of people are being called out. You know, and I'm happy to see that other groups of people are now joining in the fight, because when you have white people joining black people in the fight, and then you have racist white people attacking white people, that should now tell white people, see, y'all the outcasts to the racists. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, right? So like, it's good to see people coming together, and hopefully the good people can outweigh all of the bad people, because you're never going to get rid of racism. Like, somebody's always going to be racist or prejudiced, or we're going to have indifference towards each other. That's always going to be there. But the acting out and the lashing out that some of these people are doing, you know, I'm waiting for that day for somebody to do that to me, because it's going to be a problem.
I see more people doing that. So one of the accounts that I follow, DL Ugly, he always posts these crazy ass videos from crazy ass Karens and who not, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, I wish, and you see everybody saying the same thing, like, why don't I ever encounter these crazy Karens? Because and I just saw these two crazy white people, I think it was New York, I think it was Brooklyn, where they were painting the Black Lives Matter words black, which obviously still spells out Black Lives Matter, which was dumb.
What's that telling you?
But why would you do that? Even if you think all lives matter, why would you take your time and energy on your day to really specifically black out those words? Like, how? I'm just
But that tells you the mentality of people when you have to go and paint over the Black Lives Matter sign. Like that goes to show you the
Because it doesn't
mentality.
hurt anyone. If you're not
Right.
with it, then just leave it. It's not
Just
hurting
leave it.
you.
Right.
It's,
But the
yeah,
problem is all of these people do things when there's no one around.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't do it when there's people
Oh, there
around.
was somebody around and she wasn't playing.
Right, but I'm saying like most people like if that would have happened in a certain neighborhood,
Oh yeah.
that person would have got smacked.
Well,
You
or
know,
worse.
or worse, they would have, and then somebody would have knocked them out and took that paint roller and rolled right over their face with that.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to grab that paint and toss the whole can over her head to see how black she would be.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't go out seeking trouble, but like I'm waiting for someone to be racist towards me.
Roll up,
you know, because I don't play that. You know,
right.
I don't play that. That's nonsense. And like people are lashing out right now and wanting to be vocal about how racist they are and then say they're not racist. Yeah, you know, they're running into the wrong ones.
Yeah.
You know, they're not running into the right ones.
On the other hand, I feel like yes, sure, we get mad and we want to say something, but then I'm thinking it's also not worth my time and energy to try to reason with somebody that is not there for reasoning, because what it will do is you will be the one that's going to get locked up or shot or whatever, and that definitely is not worth it.
No, it's not. But that's the thing. People are in denial, because even I made a statement the other day, like the soul scene, like the whole soul scene of DJs playing soul records.
I saw that statement.
Right. Yeah. So it's like over the UK and stuff like that. The soul scene, which is black music being played by white DJs, there's a lot of racists in those groups.
Yeah.
A lot of racists. But if you say to them, like, how can you be playing black music and not like black people? Like, how is that? They give you the dumb look because they don't understand themselves. Yeah. Like, man, I don't like black people, but I'm playing black music. How is that possible?
Yeah.
How is everyone enjoying black culture?
But that's, I mean, I'll show it again for the people that just joined. Black culture influences the whole world. If you choose to be part of it, you're going to have to be part of everything, not just that one little piece that you feel is great. If you're going to take that piece, then you also have to be there to stand up for black culture, to be just basically owning up that you are using black culture. So if you are there to use it, then you got to be sure to defend it and to protect it even, because you can't just play that music and just make whatever you want. You just be respectful of the piece that you're using to your advantage for your income or however they're using it.
Right. I mean, because like I can tell you, like in the mid 80s, even into the early 90s, I remember there was a time in Philly, there was no one white at all involved in hip hop. The only people that you might have seen that was white was graffiti writers. And they weren't necessarily going to the hip hop club, right? They weren't necessarily in the hip hop. They were graffiti writers. They hung out with the blacks and the Latinos, but they weren't necessarily hip hop. You know, and even going into the early 90s, going into New York and going to all of the clubs, the Tunnel, Home Base, the Muse, there was no white people in New York clubs in 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. There wasn't. It was like you guys didn't even feel comfortable.
Right. I was about to say, they probably were scared to go to the club.
Right.
The black club or
And then when after the MTV era and after everything became open for everybody and safe, then everybody started to join in. But you know, and these people, they were accepted in. It was like, oh, you know, you hanging out at the club. Like I legitimately remember the first time I saw anyone white at a hip hop party in Philly. I remember that. That was early 90s, and we were doing a club that was called Club Hardcore. And I'll never forget the grand opening day. Son of Berserk was there. Run DMC came down. Crush Videos was filming. And I'm looking around, and I knew something was changing because I started seeing white hip-hop kids in the party. And I was like, oh, this is about to change. And shortly after that, it was like more diverse at the party, which is fine.
Which is fine, yeah. But
like,
those same
yo,
people should now be advocating for Black Lives Matter, because people have asked me that, like, why are you so vocal about it now? Because I'm part of Black culture. I live Black culture. I am Black culture. So,
right.
And I'm not claiming to be Black at
Right.
all. But I do know, and you know, that my history, my background is very similar to the backgrounds and the history of Black people. Just because
Right.
they don't know the history of my people doesn't mean that, you know, I don't know what it is, or to be sympathetic. And it's not a race and a contest of who got it worst and who was the most oppressed, because y'all can have that. But I relate better to Black culture because of that. And so this is what people need to understand, because when they look at me and they see all my posts about it, I mean, hell, you go through my Instagram feed, I got a whole bunch of Black people that I'm hanging out with, whether it be celebrities that I've interviewed or my friends, but I also have white friends. And,
right.
You know, so, but I know my role in being part of Black culture. I will stand up for Black lives, whether it's in America or whether it's over here. Hell, I went to the gun range last week, because if I'm ever in America and this shit goes crazy, you know, I'm in Florida a lot, I need to know how to handle a gun. So
right.
I'm prepared.
Right. And that's the thing, like, people
extreme, but it's not seeing
what's
going on over there.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing, like, people just need to recognize and respect. I mean, what people fail to realize is without Black culture, everything that we enjoy today would cease to exist.
Yes.
Everything, you know,
yes.
Because look at blaxploitation films in the 1970s. That saved Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right? Look at hip hop. The foundation of hip hop is Black music. Black funk, soul, jazz, Black
blues,
music.
Everything. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So everything comes from Black culture, because we're not listening to polka music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're like
going into that, there is a blackout day coming up again, or has it passed? There's a blackout day coming where they asked all Black people to not spend money on that day, just to see how that will influence the or impact or affect the economy. I think that's actually a really good way to measure how much value Black people contribute to society.
Right. The sad thing is we've already spent money the day before.
Well, do it. I mean, yeah. Well, did you watch Trigger Warning from Killer Mike?
Yes.
So when he did that All Black Businesses Day, he had a tough ass time. So for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Killer Mike has a show. It's on Netflix called Trigger Warning, where one of the episodes, he is going to live, I think it was 3 days, fully only spending money on Black businesses. So food, transportation, whatever, everything had to be Black owned and Black grown. So he couldn't even smoke his weed because it was California. He had a Black dealer, but the weed wasn't Black, so he couldn't smoke it. And he had a hard time for 3 days to only do things and buy things and use things that were coming directly from Black owners. He didn't eat a whole day because he couldn't find a Black restaurant. And then when he found a Black restaurant,
crazy.
He couldn't eat the food because the food wasn't from Black farmers. Yeah.
True. Like, there's a new delivery service in Philly started by two younger guys, two twins, called Black and Mobile. And their whole mission is to deliver Black owned restaurants food to people. So instead of doing Grubhub and all that, they're
good.
Yeah, they're called Black and Mobile, and it's two twins, and I think they've got like 600 drivers now, and they opened up, they're from Philly, but now they have drivers in Detroit, and all they do is service Black restaurants to people. And it's funny, the amount of non-Blacks that are buying from Black restaurants, because their Instagram, they're showing all of their customers, thanking their customers, and their customers are like a lot of white. You know, it's a diverse. So I'm like, you know what?
So the dollar,
that's great.
The dollar is going back from white to black.
Exactly.
That's what he was talking about. Keeping the dollar within the black community.
Right.
Now I'm mostly Asian, and so I mean I honestly I have no need to just keep my euros in the Asian community, because I mean
no.
Yeah, but if I could, I mean, if I could pick and choose, I will choose black owners before, you know, regular stores or whatnot. But I think it's a good thing to research what the businesses are in your area that you want to support, because
exactly.
one of my good friends, she's Moroccan, and she has her own salon, and she was closed for 3 months. So I go there to support her. If I have to pay for something, then, I mean, we could sit here and debate like, well, I should go to these Vietnamese nail salons and do it over there. But no, I choose to go to my friend who happens to be Moroccan, but she's my friend. So
right.
In that case, I don't look at black owned, white owned, Asian owned, whatever owned. I'm looking at who are my friends, who can I support?
Yes.
Above whatever else. And if I'm looking for a business that I don't know anybody in, then I'll do the research on who's the owner. Is it an independent? Is it a corporation? Is it white? Is it black?
Right.
That's my order of spending my euros at.
Right. You know, it's crazy because like during these last 3 months, I've had various people like message me and say, "What's your PayPal account? What's your cash app?" Because they're like, you know what, we value what you do, we appreciate what you do, and we want to give you some money because we see what you do, right? And these are people that I mean, I didn't ask anybody for money. These are people that just realize Skeme's a good guy. He's always pushing culture forward. He's an artist, and they're like, yo, I have money. Me and my husband are still working. We want to give you some money. Man, and the crazy thing is,
you got better fans than I do. Ain't nobody offering.
But you know, the crazy thing is, the amount of people that actually gave me money during this time were white, a few black, a couple Latino. Like, it was a diverse group of people.
Damn, no Asians? I should give you money just to get that Asian in there.
You should give me money. But you know what I think it is? It's because one of those things that good people always connect with good people.
That's true.
You know, money's green, right? Money's green, but money spends everywhere. Whether it's a black business, right? It spends everywhere. And I feel like all of these people who gave me money during this time just realized, like, he's a good guy who's always pushing culture forward. Yeah. We need to give him some money during this time. And you know what? And that money kept me afloat.
Yeah. That money kept the black culture going.
Exactly. So, you know, I appreciate those people. You know, like James Brown always said, never pass up a dollar. Yeah. Right? So whoever's giving me that dollar, I'm taking that dollar.
So because we can flip it. Like, if we're talking about putting money into black owners and black businesses, should you take from white people then?
Yes.
That could be the flip side of the question. And we could sit here and be like, well, we should get their money because they owe us. But that's not really what it's about. That's
not really what it's about. Yeah. It's somebody seeing that you're doing something.
Yeah.
And wanting to push you further along with what you're doing. You know, James Brown said, never pass up a dollar. I'm taking everybody's dollar. And, you know, and there's always this debate about if it's crooked money, should you take it? Guess what? I'm going to take that crooked money. I'm going to rob Peter to pay Paul. Right?
Well, let me tell you this. A while ago, I had an offer from somebody wanting to invest in my business. And I knew that the money wasn't really, you know, I didn't know where it came from, but I knew it could be dirty money. But as long as I don't know where it came from, I don't really have anything to do with that. Somebody want to invest in my business, then I'm going to take the money. Don't tell me what money that is. That's your money. Nobody can tell me that I've been doing something wrong if I just, you know, have a legit, you know, a contract. You want to invest. I mean, I ended up not doing it because of other stuff, but hey, and I'm dealing with euros, which are still more worth than the dollars.
Right, exactly. So I'm taking the money. Like, money's green. Yeah. There's no green people out here.
That's
So
true.
money is the common denominator between
Yes.
people. You got milk, okay, I got rice. You
Right.
know,
Right.
you got vegetables, okay, I got whatever over here. And that's what I'm just taking the money, I'm taking the money and I'm putting it into good use so that I can continue to carry on culture,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
important for me.
I'm happy to hear that people supporting you, because you are a person that should get money for what you do. You should get paid for what you do. I did in the very beginning of these talks, I had people wanting to give me money to be on this show, but that's compromising my integrity. And I've always
Exactly.
been a person that never took money to sell out, so to speak. I mean, that's a big word, but I've never been a person that wanted the money, because I could have worked for MTV. I could have worked for the big radio stations out here. I never did that because I want to be able to do what I do and feel good about it. And so I rather just grind my ass off and make that money that way than
Right.
just sit and be like, all right, I'm good, I'm comfortable, I'm working for the big ones now, and then I'm a puppet. I don't want to do
Right.
that.
And that's the thing. I've been having that conversation a lot with people who still work like the corporate job, or still like they're in a design world, but they're working a corporate company, but they're designers,
Right.
and their creativity is being stifled because they're working for a company with stipulations. My last day job was 2012 working for BMW. And
Oh
after I
yeah, I
left
remember that.
BMW, yeah, like after I left BMW, it was like I'm never going to work for a corporate establishment again, especially as long as I can make money myself. I'm making more than enough money that I can survive. I'm
Right.
fine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I can do what I'm doing and not have to get up and go work for somebody every
That's
day,
me. That's me all day. I've been on my own now for 5.5 years, and I'm not doing it. Like, one of my friends actually told me last week, "Hey, I saw this job opening at Warner Music. I thought it would be good for you." I'm like, "Why?" Well, for as a side gig. I don't want a side gig. I don't want to put my alarm clock on and work for a boss and not see that money.
nope.
Because I could use that time into my own business, and
Right.
I'm not doing all of that.
Like,
I do want to shout out Ronte, BTS designer, for having done all these flyers and promotional things, and he's helped me out a lot with this talk to set it up, and he's always coming through. I send him last minute shit, and it could be any time of day. He actually makes it happen. So thank you, Ronte, for being such a great part of my team to make this talk happen. Are there things that you came across in these past weeks, months, that you've learned? Like, were there things that you were like, oh, I never knew this, or oh, I learned this and that about that and that business?
no, because honestly, I feel like you should learn at least one new thing a day anyway. I feel like you should pick up one new thing, or you should create daily. And with
Right.
creation comes discovery. So if you're creating every day, you're discovering something new every day. Like, I don't
So what
set
have you
out to
discovered
do
today?
that. Right now in the chat room, there's a lot of people that have been supporting me for a very
Nice.
long time creatively, and there's a lot of people in the chat room right now who obviously enjoy what we're talking about, which is
Shout
something.
out
If,
to all these people. Please support me too. I always see people from my guests supporting. Where are my people? Come on now.
well,
Show
I
your
mean,
hands if you're here to support me.
like my man Bus Crates and Fat Nice and Connie Kai and Dr. Rizzle, like everybody, like everybody. I see Demon Fuzz is in the room. Like,
Oh, that's
there's
the
a
demon
lot of
buzz.
good
I've
people,
been there. Come on, people. You're from my
you know.
country.
But that's the thing, like this, what's going on right now has really boosted my productivity and my creativity 100 times over.
Right.
I'm more creative now in this last 3 months
3 months, yeah.
that I've been creative in a lot. Like, I'm always creative, but like it's nonstop, sun up to sundown creating, and it feels good to be like this,
Yeah.
So at the
Well,
end of the day, it's
keep
just,
that energy.
oh,
That's
it's
what the
on.
kids say nowadays, right?
Keep the energy, but
Keep
that's
that
important.
energy.
And the fact that I'm seeing like a lot of artists and creative friends being creative right now, you know, and putting out product and just hustling right now. I feel like people thought they were going to be hustling, but this has been like a steady, slow pace. Like, oh, you know, they wake up and they work. You know, we wake up and be
Right.
like, oh, the hustle is on, the hustle. But I'm seeing a lot of people that's not hustling. They're just pacing themselves, you know,
Well,
working.
you know, when people well, I had a lot of talk. This is like my 38th talk. And
Hmm.
so there were a lot of people that actually took the time out to get back to themselves, to get peaceful again, to heal, to get healthy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that aside from hustling, because we don't all have to hustle. We don't all have to
Right.
come out learning new skills and knowing how to I don't know, paint, or you know, that's great if you can. But if this whole time was meant for you to get peace of mind, or to get physically healthy, or to get mentally healthy, whatever the case is, if you come out a better person than you were, with new thoughts, new
Right.
ideas, new energy, then that already made it your time sitting at home worth.
Well, look at, all right, so that healthy word. So this, I don't know, a few years back, I mean, I've always been this, but a few years back, I started this hashtag DJs with green thumbs because a lot of my DJ homies, you know, they love their lawn. They love like their lawn has to be look good. But I'm noticing during this pandemic, a lot of DJ homies, a lot of artists and creatives have started planting and growing vegetables, and you know, like they'll tag me in pictures and be like,
Oh
"Man,
yeah.
I took care of my lawn today," or like, "Yo, I started planting tomatoes or whatever," and that's a different piece, you
Right.
know, because like a lot of people was like trying to go live and DJ, and I'm like, that's overkill. But then
Have you seen my stories about the garden from my friend, my black friend?
yes, I saw that.
I have a
I
whole
saw that.
bunch of vegetables because I went there on Saturday, and he gives me free stuff, and it's biologically grown. You know, is naturally grown. He does it himself with his
Right.
mom and his brothers, and it's amazing. Like,
Like my tomatoes are looking hefty right now. You know,
you
it's
should have
like
brought one to show.
I know I should have, but like
It's
that's the
okay.
thing. The whole gardening thing. A lot of DJ homies are like gardening now. They're taking walks to the parks. I'm like,
Oh
these
yeah.
guys are living healthier lives now than they were living when they were DJing.
But that's what we have to try and keep doing, because
Right,
once the gates open up, everybody's flying and touring, because that's what I've been talking to touring artists about. How are you going to stay that healthy and keep that routine once you have to start doing gigs again? Well, some of them were literally saying, well, I'm not going to plan 6 gigs after each other anymore, like 6 days in a row. I'm just going to do 2 gigs, day off, 2 gigs, day off, or whatever.
right, right.
um, and that's, I mean, you're still going to be booked, so
Yeah,
it's not going to kill your money if you take more time out. Like, even if you do normally a 2 week run, maybe it's going to be a 3 week run because you have more days off.
exactly.
um,
And that's
and
important.
yeah.
That's important. That little stretch and that those breaks in between, that's important. I mean, I'm looking forward to touring again. I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm
Right.
also enjoying my own bed. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm enjoying the healthy lifestyle. I'm enjoying,
Right.
you know, and when I travel, like I still eat good when I travel. It's not like I'm eating bad and but
Well,
it's
you
something
always
about
go to these burger joints. No, I'm kidding.
I know. But you know, like being healthy is important, you know. And
Yeah.
right now, and I feel like a lot of people realize this now that they're not traveling. They're like, man, I wasn't living really a healthy lifestyle, you know.
Right.
So that's good.
Exactly. And also mentally health, you know, mental health, because when you get up early, take these early flights, and then do your gigs at night, your sleep pattern is completely off, and that has takes its toll, physically but also mentally.
Well, you know
um,
what? It's crazy because my sleep pattern is still off. Then it's still off because I wake up probably maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then
Same.
I'm up till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, my whole sleeping pattern has been off since Corona hit. I don't know why, because I'm just, well, we do less, so you're less active, so you know you don't really sleep well. But I've just been, my creative brain keeps me up at night.
Right.
I don't know if he's still in here. I want to shout out Shamari Reed. He was a guest of mine. And going back to what I was talking about in the beginning of this talk about everybody being connected, the guy that hooked me up with Shauna, he actually told me also earlier today that he saw Shamari. He had heard of him. They live 5 minutes from each other, and he knew of him and what he does, and they have a lot in common business-wise in the industry. So he said he was going to hit him up. And I was like, isn't it amazing how people are being connected through these lives I have?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
and it's crazy because we weren't connecting like that before. You know, this whole pandemic caused a lot of people to connect and build relationships, because it was almost like everyone was kind of like doing their own thing and nobody wanted to reach out. And now people are meeting online because everyone's in the same boat together. You know, no one's traveling, no one's working, no one's traveling. It's just like,
and people now take the time out to not just connect as in, hey, what's up, but take the time to, what are they about? Hey, I always wanted to know if we could collab on something, or, you know, what are they actually doing? I know of them, but I don't really know what they're doing. So I'm going to research.
Shout out to my man DJ Face. Shout out to my man DJ Face. Face Music. He's another dude that's always working, always like.
I gotta tell you about DJ Face. So I was talking to my homie Cousin B, DJ Cousin B, and he's the one that connected me with DJ Face. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about details, but DJ Face and I just recently connected. We know the same people from the True School Clique, you know, Ninth Wonder and them. So me and Face were supposed to meet at some point as well, because we also know the same people. Shout out to my dude Daryl, who just came here. He's the one that I was talking about, that read the book, that's reading the book now, and who, you know, who I also found through my life. Well, he found me through life, and we know the same people. So, and Daryl has been so supportive ever since, you know, we started getting to know each other. Again, you got people in here supporting you, but my people are now finally showing up too. Yeah,
see, your people coming late to the party. My people always come early.
I am late to my next stupid, well, I can't say stupid because maybe somebody's gonna watch this. I'm late. I'm already running late for this next emergency meeting. So I do have to cut it short, but I always want to talk to you. Like, I cannot stop talking to you. So we're gonna have to revisit this again. But I want to ask you, what is your opinion, or how do you feel about this talk? Because you're the first one. We discussed it before I actually started it.
Yeah, I mean, when you brought up the idea of the show, and, you know, I knew instantly, first of all, I know you, and I know how intelligent you are, and I know your visions that you have, and like your hobbies that you're into. And I knew instantly, I was like, okay, this is going to be great, because I know you're very broad and you can go in many different directions. So if you could carry a great conversation and then you can find good people to talk to, I knew it was going to be an amazing show, you know. And me being the first, that, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down, you know. And seeing the progression of who you've had on the show from all different walks of life, you know, you didn't just stick to one, you didn't just stick to DJs, or you didn't just stick to MC. You have a broad,
everyone.
You had everyone. So, you know, and that's something that's difficult for a lot of people to do, because a lot of people are so one-dimensional. They can only talk to DJs, or they can only talk to painters, or they can only, but you're so diverse that you can hold conversations with everybody on any topic, you know. So, yeah, I knew when you came up with the idea for the show, I was like, yes, it's about to be on. It's going to be on.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Also shout out to Halim Flowers. He was on my show. He was incarcerated for 20-something years.
His story is interesting. His story was interesting.
And he's now throwing out paintings left and right, selling them, as, you know, being an artist. And yeah, so I did have different people, but it, you know, in light of the whole George Floyd thing, that was a nice little, you know, a bridge towards somebody that was incarcerated innocently and is now, you know, flourishing and being a great artist. Also a very intelligent guy. So it was a great conversation, and I learned a lot from him as well. Uh, on top of that, he's gotten his master's and all his degrees and all his knowledge when he was in jail. So I'm like, I'm slacking. Like,
Yeah.
I got to do
Yeah.
better. And that's the inspiration and motivation that I seek in people, and that those are the guests that I want, because then it brings it out to other people as well.
Right.
And you will always be one of my biggest inspirations, whether it be geeky stuff, nerdy stuff, or just, you know, knowledge, historical knowledge of movies and music. It's just, you're just a walking encyclopedia. And
Can you pay me? Can you pay me for this knowledge pay? Can you can you give me some euros?
Hey, you know, once I make it big, homie, I got you. I will hire you. I will book you a whole tour, because I need people that, I need you to do lectures on blaxploitation and all that stuff. Like,
Yo, I
need
actually
to do
missed that. I missed doing that. Like when I did like Korea, I was doing, you know, I did lectures in Korea, I
Yeah.
did lectures in Japan. Like I miss doing that. Like
Well,
that's
you
what I'm
know,
looking forward to
again,
traveling.
I don't forget my people, because you've
I
always
know.
been my supporter. And, you know, shit, you know, we all got to make it. I mean, you
Yeah.
get money from white people. I don't. But no,
Yeah,
I got you. And you know, I always got you a home cooked meal when you're in Amsterdam.
I know.
You got a place to stay here if you need
I
to.
know.
You got a
I
bike
still
if
need
you
that
need
barbecue. I still need that barbecue.
Well, you remember that good spot
Yeah.
I had over here? Yeah, that's gone. But I gotta find a new spot. But
All
I got
right.
a car now, so we can drive to Germany.
Oh, we roll.
we can do whatever we want to do. But I
Word.
just hope that we get to see each other in person again soon. And thank you for this talk. I'm way over time, but I can't just talk to you for like a little bit. And I feel like I
Word.
haven't even asked you everything yet. But
No, we gonna make it happen again.
yeah, see, Face knows you. He just needs a good burger. Man, he been to all the burger spots
Face
over
knows.
here. Face knows. Yeah, that's how I know you know him when we talk about burgers. But yeah, I'll definitely have another talk with you at some point, because before you know it, we're 3 months further, and hopefully, well, I don't think the States will open up within this year. It's going to be
No.
2021. But yeah, hopefully, by God's grace, we get to see each other and hug each other again and
Yeah.
eat.
And eat.
And eat
Definitely.
and talk Star Wars and geeky stuff.
Right? Yo, speaking of Star Wars, shout outs to my man DJ Mark Hype from Germany who's in here. He's another Star Wars fanatic. You know, like all of the DJs, we just love, you know, we love Star Wars. Like,
well, this is why I used to DJ. You know, I
I
used
know.
to DJ as well. I just never, you know, took it upon as, you know, making it my job or my profession. But if I get some turntables again, maybe. But
yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, I'm so late to the next party, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much again, Skeme. I love you to death. You're like the homie, and we'll talk soon.
Yo,
Thanks,
no doubt. Love
everyone,
you,
for
guys.
tuning in. And I'm not even sure when my next guest is. If anybody has suggestions who I should talk to, feel free to send me a message, because I'm always interested in great people, talking to great people. So they gotta match Skeme's level, though. All right. Well, I'll talk to you soon, Skeme. Thank you.
All right, Faye. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. Yep.